Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Heartfelt Hustle, the podcast, where we dive deep into all things business, life, and who knows, everything in between. And the reason why I am saying this is because today I am going to be talking about something that I have been working on myself, something that I have been trying and every single week or every single week making progress with, and that's the reason why I want to talk with you about this topic. So it's a topic, of course, which is close to my heart because it is something that I have been, like I said, working on. So if you are anything like me, or if you are multi-passionate just like me, you have got a lot of roles to balance. You have a lot of ideas that you want to implement and bring to life. When it comes to something like me being a consultant, me being a service provider, me managing my business, me running my membership, and maybe you have your membership, your course, your programs. Maybe you are just like me, a mother, you have your family who you need to take care of. And oh my God, like seriously, let's be real. It can feel like we are juggling a million things at once. Like we might not be actually great at juggling in real life if we try and juggle too many things, but when it comes to our different roles, we're getting there, we're getting better. So, in this episode, I am going to break down how I plan my week or how I am getting every single week better inspiration to plan my week in a way that keeps me sane, on track, and I am, as far as or as much as I can, I am not dropping any of those hats. So I hope this episode gives you some inspiration or practical ideas to take back and to implement in your own weekly planning. So are you ready to dive in?
Welcome to Heartfelt Hustle, the podcast that dives deep into the heart and hustle of entrepreneurship, where our dreams meet reality and where our passions fuel our success. I'm your host, Sushmita Jain, a loan strategist and operations director, founder of an outsourcing agency. Most of my clients call me their right-hand woman, and most importantly, a curious soul as well as a nerd. I am here to share my experiences. I am here to share my insights. I am here to share practical tips that will help you build a thriving and a sustainable business. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or someone looking to infuse more heart into your hustle, I am here and this podcast is for you. Each week, we'll dive into topics ranging from reconnecting to your passions, your soul, your why, and overcoming the roadblocks of your growth journey. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dig into this heartfelt hustle together.
Hey, so first, let's talk about mindset because the more work I do on this, the more I've come to realize that balance isn't just about giving equal time to every role in our life, but rather it's about being intentional with the time we have. For me, I approach each week with the understanding that some roles will take priority on different days, and that's okay. It's all about asking ourselves what needs my attention this week and maybe what can wait. You can't do everything at once. Trying to achieve a perfect balance can lead to burnout, which I've learned the hard way, and that too more than once. So, when it comes to me going into my week with the goal of harmony and not perfection, with being realistic about what's achievable, that's very important for me because ultimately I have to be realistic and I have to think about things from like the bird's eye view. So let's break it down, because here's the thing, you know, when it comes to me, what I do, I wear a lot of hats, and I am sure many of you do too. So here's how I manage it. As a consultant and as a service provider, I schedule client work first. These are my and my team's non negotiable hours. If I have client calls or deadlines, they go into the calendar before anything else. I make sure to also leave buffer time for emergencies or last minute changes, because we all know those things can happen, isn't it? Then, next, what I do want to talk about and think about as my role is also my role as a content creator, because when I'm planning my week, I need to include content creation tasks like brainstorming ideas, writing scripts, or recording, or even editing the podcast, editing, the other voice messages, or like not voice messages, but, like my membership also has the Insider Scoop as a separate podcast as well. So I do time block specific hours each week for content creation to make sure I stay on top of it. And at the same time, I do allow flexibility for creativity to flow naturally. But then when things do not work out for some reason, or if I need to put this role a bit on the back for like if you look and if you have a view on my social media, or even if you look at this podcast for last week, I have been sharing more spontaneous content instead of planned ones, because things did not work out the way I planned them to, and then I had to put down this role on the back a bit. Then also comes my role as a business manager, because looking at the bigger picture of my business, I believe and I look at it and I always kind of work on it in chunks. I dedicate specific blocks during the week for strategic work, or for reviewing things that I might have to review, or even working on my growth plans, because it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day tasks that sometimes we do forget to actually manage our business. So I have started changing this, because there was a time in my life where, I was more just, keeping up with the to-dos, adding more things, working on things one after the other. And it was just not giving me the joy, or my business was basically not giving me the joy it was supposed to, or the way I would like to run it. And that's the reason why, I definitely did plan to change on that, and that's how I have been working on it step by step. Then also comes my role as the membership owner, because for my membership, I set aside time every single day to engage with my members, ask them questions, check in with them, and, have those conversations with them, or even whether it's preparing for a live session or working on content for the membership, because there's so many ideas that I want to work on. And that's exactly how, like, the Insider Scoop, which is the podcast which is specifically for my membership members, and like, it's led me to different ideas. Like right now I am working with them, or I'm prepping actually for an audio series for them, which is going to help them plan their quarter. And it is something I believe they can get back to every single year after the year. And it's going to be a game changer for them as well. So there's so much happening. There are weekly trainings. Then plus I have so many other ideas that I want to implement for members as well. And that needs investment as time. And that's how I'm slowly but steadily making sure I am taking out time for them as well. And then comes my role as a mother, a wife, someone who has their own family, or, taking time out for my parents or my sister, or having conversations with people who do matter in my life. So, because all of these things together are ultimately my anchor. So to make sure that family time is built into my schedule is something that I have started to work on and include, which is definitely not one of my priorities, I would say 1.5 year or 2 years prior from now. This is a time or something that I'm working out, and these moments that I do have started incorporating or adding in my calendar, these are helping me also start working on my boundaries and to help me be fully present in both my personal life as well as my business. So when it comes to you, I would like you to look back and think about, because when I do break down all of my roles for you, I want you to, even if you need to pause this episode right now, take a pen and paper, take your notebook or take tablet or pick up your laptop, whatever system works for you, and make notes. Look at the different roles you are playing and see and strip them down. Like, how can you make them work? What are the different roles that you are playing in your life? Like, not playing as a character, but who you are when it comes to your different roles, and how you can break them down and how you can be realistic of what needs to be done, how you would like to do it. And then you can start picking, just like me, which week, which role maybe gets priority, or how you can spread out different things that you need to do in different roles and work on things one by one. Because, this is how I do, or how I start planning out my week as well. I start every Sunday evening with my planning session. I use a combination of my digital calendar. So like I use Notion calendar because Notion is where all of my databases are when it comes to my task. But I also have synced it with my Google calendar, because that's how I can make sure, like my calls are not clashing, and, there are other bits that are being worked out, and, I can then have a seamless integration between all of the different things I am working on. And it gives me a better picture at project management as well. And plus, I also do utilize a notebook, because, there are going to be notes coming or ideas coming, or there are going to be different, like requests coming from my clients, my team, and all of those kind of things. Instead of them instantly going on a certain specific page or in a certain specific database, to be very specific, on Notion, I rather get them first on my pen and paper or my notebook, and then I do sort them out and work through them, and then get them added on my calendar as well as the week progresses. So first, I prioritize and I list out all the tasks I or my team need to accomplish in each role. So obviously what I do is I see what are the deadlines, what needs to be finished, what my team needs to finish, where they might be on it, and I kind of, just work things out one by one. And obviously based on the different roles, if there are any commitments, if there's anything specific I need to do, whether it's client work, content creation, what I want to get done when it comes to managing my membership, are there any personal commitments, what kind of calls I have this week, all of these things I do brainstorm on and work through them and work out my master list. Then once I kind of have my master list, I do kind of then segment them, that what needs to be done by me, what maybe I can send, anybody else's way and they can work on it, and, kind of like that. So then I start reducing or subtracting things from my master list so that I can work on time blocking, and I can assign chunks of time for each task which is pending on my master list, making sure that my client work gets done early in the week when my energy is high. And then later in the week, I focus more on business strategy, content creation, membership related tasks, and so on and so forth. And then finally, I leave also space for flexibility, because life happens. especially when you have a toddler up in the mix, things always or sometimes or most of the times do not go to plan. So I make sure my schedule has breathing room for unexpected events. There's flexibility, and that is what saves me from feeling overwhelmed when things maybe are going obviously off the course. Because, I'm someone who always has loved control, but this new role that I have been, in the past 1.5 year has been a really challenging one where I have to let go control because there are things which are, out of my control there, because it's easier for you to have a rigid schedule when there's no kid or a toddler or a baby in the mix, because you know how things are going to work out. You can have control even if you have still flexibility, which I used to believe I always have had. Now the flexibility looks rather a lot more different than before. So obviously I'm still working on this, as each challenge coming my way gives me lessons to learn from and implement. And right now, as I share, the bird's eye view of my current process, I'm sure this is definitely going to evolve, and I will have more bits to share with you guys over the time as well. So, and in fact, I actually have a little tip for you. I keep Mondays really light because when I am working out on what needs to be completed over a specific day or across the week, what I do is, or what I've started doing since some time, is that I give Mondays, or I give my week a slow start, because it gives me time to recalibrate if anything needs adjusting, especially because on weekends there are things that get sent our way, and we either need to play catch up on Mondays, or we need to move things over sometimes to fit in our schedule. So to have Mondays as a breathing room, or even slight more of an admin day, gives us time to work things out. And I used to, like I said, have things the other way around, but since I've shifted my approach, I feel things have been much more smoother and much more proactive, instead of me and my team being more reactive. Now that we've talked about all of these things, let's actually move towards one thing which is very important, which is, let's talk about self-care. Because let's be honest, one thing that I have started making started looking at finally as a non-negotiable is that if we want to show up fully in all the areas of our life, we definitely have to make sure we take time out for ourselves as well. And for me, I make sure at least there's one self-care moment built into each day. So, some days it would look like, starting my day with, the morning routine, meditation, journaling. Sometimes it would just be more about, starting my day with the coffee, sitting in peace, just looking at something random, or just listening to some, good music or meditation. So all of these little moments do help me recharge. Similarly, I'm working on my night routines, or how I end my days as well, because now that things are changing, I definitely want to work things out, because it still does not look how it used to look before when it comes to my routines, but it's a work in progress, and we definitely don't want to be perfectionists, so that it's something that we're building in, blending in, like habit stacking and so on. So yeah, so apart from all of these things, since a couple of months I even signed up for gym, and that, or those couple of hours per day, serve as my no distraction recharge blocks, because that time has become literally like my sacred time for me, where I can just focus on myself. I use that time, and I have started noticing it, that time actually helps me clear my mind. It helps me come back to work, family, all the things that need my attention, feeling refreshed and energized. And you know what? it's also important to not feel guilty about this, because taking time for ourselves actually benefits everyone else around us. When I'm rested, when I'm feeling good, when I am feeling better, I can literally be a better business owner. I can be a better I can be a better business owner. I can be a better mom. I can be a better daughter. I can just be good at whatever role I need to play. So, to sum it all up, what I want you to do is look at what you're doing, how you're doing, are you giving in your 100%? Brainstorm and utilize this episode as your inspiration hitting block for today. Key to managing multiple roles is to plan ahead, to prioritize wisely, because ultimately it's not just about planning, it's also about prioritizing and building in time for yourself as well, because every role needs its priority, but you have to be mindful about what and how the structure you build into your life as well. So it's all about knowing what needs your focus for the week and accepting that you don't have to be everything to everyone all the time. In fact, rather focus in specific things when you're working on something instead of trying to micromanage everything on the go. So I hope this episode has inspired you to rethink how you can plan your week and how you can give yourself permission to create the space for all the things that truly matter to you. If this resonates with you, I would love to hear, or I would love to, listen or obviously read in the comments below when you share, how do you balance different areas of your life? Or you can even drop me a message on Instagram and let me know, because I am a curious soul. So before I wrap up, if you are looking for more support or managing all of the moving parts in your business, I feel, and based on what I've been building, my membership is a great place for you. We have monthly mastermind sessions, we have a tech vault, we have, template vault, we have so many things. And plus, as inspiration hits, I keep on adding more things which will help you simplify and streamline your business. So check the link below. Sign up for the waiting list. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope and look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Felt Hustle. If you are enjoying this episode, and if you have been also loving the previous ones, or if you haven't caught up on the previous ones, I would definitely suggest you do. And plus, I would love if you would leave a review. I hope to see you soon next time. Take care. Bye-bye.